to have another panic attack.
That movie hurts me to my core. And I think we should take a moment of silence.
Oh, Steve.
For the amount of Band-Aids used in the filming of this. That's not silence.
Hey, well, I mean, that was the background music.
I never gave it a label.
Yeah, it was like, moment of silence. Lone trumpet player is like, now's my time. This is how I get into Schaefer.
I guess they don't play music in times like that.
Yeah.
Especially immediately after the word silence.
Yes. But hey,
Shut
you know,
up.
if Charlie Parker didn't get a cymbal thrown at his head, he wouldn't have been great. So if you don't shoot your shot at a funeral or a moment of silence on the trumpet, when can you do it?
So beat everyone until there's better musicians.
Yes.
I'm just sad that no one got murdered.
You wanted somebody to get murdered?
No, I wanted the student to murder the bald guy.
You wanted him to kill Fletcher?
Yes.
Oh my God, that would have been a dark movie.
Oh, but it would have been so dramatic. It would have been like, woo.
Like that's the end. He plays a drum solo and then he just slits his throat.
But it's swords and he's stabbing people.
Yeah, but sorry, I can't change the ending of a movie because then that's like I'm basically just being
Did you want it to end differently?
Oh my God.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, if you suggest any other alternate ending, I will be burning you at the stake tonight.
All right. Well.
Yeah, so
now that the rules have been set, let's
good
game, set, and match. Here we go. Michael, did you laugh?
Yeah, I laughed.
Were you rushing or dragging with your laughing?
First of all, don't talk to me in that tone.
I'm sorry.
And also,
yeah,
next time you talk to me, you better be in my tempo.
Well, you're not conducting, so how am I supposed to talk
if
in your
tempo? If you're not in my tempo, I'm going to replace you with a different Steve.
Fucking kill you, bitch.
My God.
Wow, that was violent, Daniel.
That was very violent.
And that was that whole movie.
This is a loving movie about reaching for the stars and chasing your dreams.
And developing anxiety disorder over 3 months. And experiencing trauma that can never be undone.
Yeah, but do you want to be good? You want to be good?
Yeah. I mean, how bad do you want it?
He needs a therapist.
This kid got in a car accident and ran to his gig. That's the kind of guts you need to make it in the music world.
I guess.
You wanna slap the skins of the drums? You gotta bleed for it.
Have you ever bled that much playing drums, Steve?
If you're bleeding that much, you're doing it wrong. Like you should never be dripping blood. Like
yeah, there's like too much space between your sticks and your fingers or something where it's like rubbing in the wrong way.
Well, he must not have read the back of the drumstick box that says remove razor blades first before playing.
Yeah.
Remove razor.
They all come with a razor blade, yes.
Well, yeah.
Can confirm. I was a music student. I have a degree in music, everybody.
Yeah, so I guess you could say we know a little bit more about this movie than most people.
Oh, what? Steve, who also has a degree in music?
Yes.
And Michael, who just came to like all of our concerts. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Yay.
And also did like church stuff.
and also did church stuff.
Like the church music.
He often puts headphones in and listens to music too.
Oh yes, he does listen to. He listens to lots of different kinds of music too.
Yes, like the country and western, both kinds, both kinds.
Blue and the grass.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
Blue in the grass. That sounds like a band name.
I have I've seen Michael in many a field with a blue crayon. He really went to town.
I don't think I'm doing it right.
Michael, it's because it's purple. You wouldn't know. You're colorblind. Sorry.
Wow.
It's like, I'll never make it to Nashville at this point as he's just scribbling blue crayon on grass.
If only they made music in black and white.
I sound like an idiot. I'm like wheezing.
Oh my god.
This is what I said you can't be doing. Fucking coughing the whole fucking time we're doing this, Steve.
Sorry.
Alright, how'd you get that out? Alright.
That was good.
That was mean. Hurtful. Insensitive. Me and Miles Teller, we got stuff in common now.
We really wanted you to suffer for this podcast.
Him and I will relate through trauma.
Listen, you didn't go through the music school experience. We're just trying to give you an accurate representation.
Yeah, but I don't care. Like, just to be better at the drums.
I gotta say, they didn't do enough, like, parties where you just get so fucking trashed because you're just so tired of this shit that you get so fucking sick because you had, like, a whole bottle of alcohol to yourself.
Well, I mean, they made several points to say that he didn't have any friends.
That's true.
Not a single friend.
Not a single friend.
But yeah, he wasn't an alcoholic and he didn't do drugs.
No, he didn't have time. He was practicing.
He
That's
just
true.
needed to be better at the drums constantly.
Always better at the drums. Especially better than Conroy. What was his name?
Connolly or something?
Connolly, yes.
Sure.
Connolly.
Connolly.
That guy.
He was just there to incite you or whatever. What a weird way to use a human being.
Turn my pages, bitch. There's that moment of silence I was asking for. Anyway, welcome to Every Film in the Book. I'm Steve.
I'm Danielle.
Oh, Michael.
And Michael plays the drums really well.
Oh yeah, he's a great drummer.
He's the best rhythm guy. Hey, any future music producers out there, you're obviously listening to this show. Call Michael. Here's his number. 717.
Yeah, all right. Well, we bring this up because this week we are watching Whiplash,
which
is a story about a drummer, such as Michael, who went to music school and had a ruthless teacher, according to HBO's description, who will stop at nothing to achieve perfection.
Yeah, he really wants the perfect student.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not afraid to go after it, you know? He
Yeah,
really has a dream, and he's not going to let anyone stand in his way.
Yeah, by just being a dick.
So, Michael, since you are the music student here, tell us about your experience. Did you have any teachers throwing chairs at you?
No, not really.
No?
It was
No?
more full desks
Full desks.
and cabinetry.
Cabinetry.
Would they rip a
oh.
cabinet off the wall?
I went to a real music school, okay?
Oh.
They threw serious furniture.
Oh,
Wait,
so
did you go to Juilliard?
No, the better one.
the better one?
Yeah.
I like that one.
All
That's a
right.
good one. I've seen them in concert once.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they were good.
Those guys. You know, the good ones.
Yeah, you know, those great players.
One thing I've learned in all my years of drum school,
Yeah.
you can always be better at the drums. And if you're not, somebody's going to tell you loudly.
Oh my God, dude. J.K. Simmons is yelling his face off in this movie.
You see all the veins that exist in his skull.
Yeah, like
they're all there.
any aspiring medical students out there, just watch this movie if you want to know where the veins in the head are. This is a pretty great roadmap,
Well,
I think.
I think it's just because he was angry like 78% of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I
Did
mean,
he get like a stroke while filming this movie? Because
he probably...
I mean, I think he got jacked for this movie just so he was in like tip-top health, because he knew he was going to be like
he
screaming
had
and
to
on
do
edge at all time.
cardio so that his heart wouldn't explode.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's an older
If you're
dude.
gonna take 1 through 700 is you yelling.
Yeah.
You're going to need some practice.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know if he won anything for this, but he really should have. I thought he
insane. I thought he did fantastic. Like, it was so believable, more so on his part than Miles Teller's part.
Yeah.
Very intimidating.
Yeah, no. Well, my one complaint, and here's where
go.
Everyone starts sighing. Miles always looked like he was taking a shit when he was drumming.
Well, it probably hurt, so.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Similar to taking like a hard shit, you know the ones.
That's just his groove face.
That's his groove. Yeah. His groove face looks scary. He looks like he's trying to rip a phone book in half.
He's trying to be
with
great.
With his butt cheeks.
Steve, he's trying to be great.
Well, he does become great, I think. He's a pretty good player. From where he starts to where he finishes.
Well, he could be better.
Yeah, and those computer generated drums at the end, that's real perfection right there.
Yeah. Well, I hope somebody actually played it, and I wish I could give them credit, but I don't know who played it, and I don't feel like watching the credits.
But there's definitely people that can play that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Miles did learn at least enough where
it didn't look terrible.
Yeah, like certain shots he's actually playing, but like for some of the more like simpler stuff.
Yeah. But it didn't, like, I don't necessarily know how to play the drums, but I know what playing the drums looked like.
Right.
And so, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, no. Like, he did a great job.
There was a couple times where you're like, that one makes that noise now, apparently.
Yeah. It's like, oh, he hit a cymbal? That sounds oddly like a bass drum.
Right. It's like, yeah, cool.
That's goofy.
But it wasn't anything. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, it didn't take you out of the movie.
No.
Like, some of these things where they, like, cut to the bar scene, and it is a close-up on the band, and they're just, like, not even playing in time.
Oh, like, yeah.
None of the instruments actually match up to what's being played.
But yeah, like Steve and I were talking earlier about how every other musician, we believe, was actually playing. So
yeah, I think like all the horn players, like especially at the end, like that pro band, I think that was real, like musicians.
Yeah, I wouldn't see why they wouldn't put people that you would recognize. Like,
and from that very first scene, it really sounded like they just put a microphone in a room that a band was playing in. Mm-hmm. So like the way it sounded, just like it has to been something they played live.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely didn't skimp on the music.
Yeah.
I wonder what their jazz budget was.
Their big jazz
budget. Like, I'll give you $50 million for all your jazz.
Give me your jazz.
Where's Ryan Gosling? I heard he saved jazz once.
Did he?
I heard that.
For him.
I heard that somewhere.
Good for him. What
him
a guy.
and Emma Stone.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, they saved it.
They saved jazz.
Wow.
2 white people. Scary.
Saved
Scary times. Scary times.
Nobody knows what jazz is anymore.
Don't worry. I'm Ryan Gosling. I'll show you what jazz is. 5, 6, 7, 8.
I don't want my jazz
in 4, damn it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey. Not my tempo.
But in all honesty, this movie was just a big anxiety attack. Like
it's a fantastic anxiety attack. I love this movie.
I think they just did a good job of making the film.
Yeah.
Like like it's done in a way where it, the tension between the characters and then what's actually being said, like you're paying attention.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of neat.
Like, it makes you feel things.
Well, in a lot of movies, the talking is just on their way to the next action.
Yeah.
So for this, like, it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, like any dialogue you get is, oh man, I wish I had a laundry store that I could do something at, and then it cuts to the next scene and they're at the laundromat.
Right.
I don't know why I went to laundry store.
This was an hour and 46 minutes of nonstop playing jazz.
Oh yeah.
Like the jazz never stopped.
They could have made this movie 2+ hours.
Oh yeah.
Like I would put more jazz. Honestly,
they packed a lot of story into an hour 45.
Yeah, I mean it's literally him going to school, rising to the top, losing everything, and then like rising up again at the end. Like we get his full story, and like it doesn't feel like they skipped anything. Like
no, and it didn't feel rushed. Which is good because I don't know, sometimes telling a story about somebody's life, they're like, we're going to tell you 45 years, and it's like, all right, well that's it's clearly too much to pack into an hour. But
I mean, come on, how much do you really do in 46 years?
Like, I mean, in that, yeah, you can do a lot of jazz. That's a lot of jazz.
That's like 15 jazz right there.
That's a lot of time to be a better drummer.
Yeah, like they took a lot of time with each scene. So, like I said, it didn't feel rushed. But because they just kept going without any stopping, they really they were able to show you everything.
I really like the fact that every time they were practicing, or even playing more so, the background was always very bland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And everything was very bleak, and then the band was very vibrant with the way they changed the shots and stuff like that. But the background was always very mild, so it was very much just you and the music.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard to do for a movie because you're watching it.
Yeah, and there's always like that need to like make everything like extravagant, and there's like
so
bright things in the background.
Kept it simple.
Yeah, like you felt like you were in like a conservatory where people are just there to play.
Got you into the music pretty well.
Yeah, that was good. But I mean, like from the start, like all we get is really him in a practice room, and our first introduction to J.K. Simmons is him just bursting into a practice room and being like, "Hey, what's your name?" It's like, and you're just kind of like, "Wait, who the hell is this bald guy?"
Yeah, he's standing in the doorway. He looks up like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
He's like, "Oh, what's up?" He's like, "You stopped playing." He's like, "Oh yeah, hold on." He just starts playing again, but like this is like your first dose of him being just like a dick, because he's like, "Oh, so your first instinct was to start playing with like a wind up monkey?" It's like, I didn't tell you to start playing again. Yeah,
like everything he says, he then like says the opposite 2 minutes later when you do what he asked you the first time.
Yeah, he's
just like gaslighting you the whole movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Whiplash, more like gaslight.
He's not the nicest guy.
No, he's not. But we find out that our main character is Andy, I think his name is. Yes. He's
drummer boy. Our little drummer boy.
Our little drummer boy. He's gonna play for God one day. But he got accepted into this Schaefer Music Conservatory. Probably supposed to be like the greatest music school in the country, and his whole goal is he wants to be one of the great like jazz musicians. But I mean, that's hard to live up to when your brother is a Division III football player and your other cousin is a Model UN student. Drumming doesn't really stack up to that.
Yeah, but if you're one of the greats,
you'll be standing on top of those Division III football players, and they will beg for mercy, and you might grant it.
Yes.
So they don't really give us a whole lot about the character.
Yeah, no.
At the start. So Miles Teller, you kind of understand that's all he wants very quickly.
Yes.
And they don't really talk about it a whole lot. And the same for the professor or whatever.
Right.
The conductor, you know immediately who he is, and they don't waste a lot of time, and they don't talk about it at all for either one of them. You're just like, here's two characters, and you realize them very quickly.
Yeah, and then because like a lot of this like emotion that comes out in these scenes is coming out through his drumming. Like whenever something emotional happens in the story, like it kind of cuts to him in a practice room, and he starts getting more and more intense while he starts playing, and like it just kind of like you can see the amount of like wear and tear he's slowly getting through.
Yeah, and like Michael said, they didn't really talk a lot about them, but you can tell immediately who they are just by how they react to everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, actions speak louder than words. So they just show you visually.
It's almost like drumming speaks louder than words.
Than speaking.
It is quite a bit louder.
Yes.
Scientifically. But we kind of get his first like rehearsal time where he's with like I guess the regular jazz band, and it seems like every now and then this J.K. Simmons character will come into this jazz classroom and start randomly picking musicians to come and join his better band. So like you kind of see him outside the door, and they're like, "Oh no, he's not coming in today." And then he finally just comes bursting through this door like a freaking tornado.
He's like, "Trumpets, play measure 87. 1, 2, 3. No, stop, you're trash."
Oh, dude, what he says to that first chair, he's like, oh, so your first chair, like, let's see if you got it just because you weren't cute.
I think he said just because you are cute.
Yeah, and then she played badly, and he goes, yep,
that's why.
That's why.
And she was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So he tries out the drummer, and he's just like, nah, other drummer. And Miles gets on the kit, plays his double time swing, and
he dismisses him.
Yeah, dismisses him, just sends him away. And then the dude, J.K. Simmons, gets up, and he's just like, all right, drums, you're coming with me. And calls Miles up to him and is like, all right, 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, don't be late. You're my new drummer. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, he's, of course, brimming with confidence. Like, he goes and asks somebody out literally in, like, the same hour.
He was feeling good.
Yeah, he's feeling himself.
Yeah, they made a point to show him talking to her and not asking her out first.
Yeah, she was just kind of like a background character. He was buying, like, popcorn and Raisinets with
his dad at the movies.
Yeah. Have you ever actually eaten a Raisinette? Because that just sounds terrible.
The chocolate-covered raisins.
Gross. But they show you that his dad is the only person in his life that actually, like, connects with him on any sort of level like that.
Gives a shit at all.
Yeah, because he has no friends. His mom died or something. She left.
She left when he was a baby.
And the rest of his family seems like just a bunch of assholes. So, yeah, like, he doesn't really have anybody to turn to when all of this starts getting crazy.
Yeah, which it's literally about to.
Yeah, so he kind of just represses everything.
Yeah, because, like, you know, I know, like, his dad, I'm sure, is trying, but, like, I feel like he's not really all there up until, like, the ending when he finally realizes, like, holy shit, my son is, like, talented, and, like, he is putting a lot of work into this for good reason. Because, like, you know, the whole movie is just kind of like, you know, like, some of these jazz musicians, like, you know, they put so much time and effort into it, and it ended up killing them, and they're, you know, have drug problems, alcohol problems, all that stuff. So, like, he's a little reserved about him being, like, this famous drummer.
Right.
Sorry.
Hanging in there, Steve.
Yeah, had to clear my my tickle throat.
But yeah, like I said before, this is just anxiety all the time. So, like, as soon as he gets into that first, well, actually, he wakes up in the morning.
Yeah.
After he gets the spot in his band. And it's like 6:03 or something.
Yeah, he's like already late for his first day.
So he's freaking the fuck out. Yeah. And he just runs out the door. He sprints to class, and when he gets in, nobody's there.
Nobody. It's a jazz band filled with ghosts. Tune in next week for Haunted Drum Set, Whiplash Part 2.
Yeah, Michael saw this was Blumhouse, and he was like, so the drum set's haunted?
Yeah. Something's got to get spooky.
Yeah.
It was a dark film. Like, it was dimly lit a lot of times.
Yeah. I just kept hearing you whisper, all right, so this is the haunted drum set.
That's the haunted drum set. I was waiting for it. Never got it.
Never got the haunted drum set.
I'm so sorry, Michael. Haunted drum sets in this movie.
I will find a haunted instrument movie for you, and we'll do it just for you.
If there isn't one, we'll make it.
But so I thought this was going to be a moment where he sits down and just starts practicing, and then, like, everybody would come in and be like, oh, hey, look.
You got the chops.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. He just kind of sat there and spaced out for 3 hours.
Yeah. He really thought about his time.
Well, yeah, because he went back out and realized that only the first one was early. The rest of them were at 9. So he just sits in there for 3 hours.
Yeah. But, like, this is, like, Fletcher's, like, first kind of, like, mind game to him. Like, he starts fucking with him right away. And he's like, yeah, be there at 6 and you better not be late. And then everybody else strolls in, you know, 3 hours later. And then he even shows up at, like, 9:01. So, like, he's already, like, kind of putting them on edge
with the hat.
Oh,
and the headphones. And the jacket up. And the extra about everything.
This core drummer walks in. And he's the most cocky bastard in the world. Tune my set to a B flat and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Turn my pages. Massage my feet and get me a goddamn coffee.
Fucking flip the page, bitch.
Watch me rip through this fucking solo, bro.
He was like a pretty boy. That wasn't how he was.
Yo, bro. Listen to me fucking play the drum set, bro.
I'm gonna pop my collar and then pop your mom.
Hey, just like Miles Teller, he could have been better at drums too. And they would have been making the movie about him, but no.
Yeah, he was just sliding along because he had to be a fucking chess piece in this guy's fucking
life.
life.
A little warped game of make people into what I want them to be.
Yeah. Oh, it's creepy.
Ooh, spooky haunted drum set.
The one thing though with the what is it? He's a conductor?
Yeah.
Music conductor?
Yeah, he's a conductor.
You never question his chops.
No.
At all. Like, that was one thing I found, like, halfway through the movie. I was like, I just took it completely point blank. And you don't see him play anything until much later in the film.
Well, that's, like, most of my experience with music teachers. Like, I never hear them play initially. And then, like, months into it, I'm like, oh, my God. They play that instrument? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, but like he just commands like respect from the moment he walks in, because like the door flies open, everybody's up on their feet instantly, are all ready to play and just waiting for his hand.
Drill sergeant.
Dude, the camera pan around his hand and just looking at all the kids' faces, like they look like insane. They're just like, come on, drop the downbeat, drop the downbeat, dude. It's killing me.
Downbeat.
But yeah, this is when he kicks his first member out of the band, because like he got
to show you're the big dog.
Yeah, you gotta kill someone early.
So they're playing through the titular Whiplash.
Ooh.
Is that the name of the movie?
Is that the name of the movie?
So they're playing through Whiplash, and he cuts them off, and he's just like, "Hey, somebody's playing out of tune in my band." And I'm really mad about it.
He's like, somebody better admit they're out of tune. Or, I don't know what he says.
He's like, I have this sharp knife in my briefcase.
I'm going to start cutting everybody across the ankles.
You either admit you're out of tune or I start killing at random.
Well, he kind of hunts him out, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely is like, well, you got a chance, okay? You didn't take the other chance. Section by section, you're gonna play something.
Starts with the saxophones, they're good.
Yep.
Gets to the trombones. Oh, buddy, those trombones. But
somebody's out of tune.
Yeah.
The classic pan down the line to trombones, and one guy is clearly pissing himself.
Yes,
he's sweating hard.
God. So he starts just dressing this dude down, and he's like, "Are you out of fucking tune in my band, you fat fuck?"
He's pretty angry. He says a lot of mean things to the young fella.
Yeah, no,
mean.
he does not pull his punches. He drops a few words I cannot repeat in this recorded format.
Really?
I'm
pretty sure we have said worse words.
Yeah, probably.
I've said all the words.
All of the words.
Screaming directly at a trombone player. Yeah. I say all the words. That's where I really let him have it.
You poopy face. You're out of tune.
Yeah, he's really fast with the comments too.
Oh, yeah.
It just rolls off the tongue so easy for him.
You know, it kind of lends to the fact that he's been doing this for quite a while, and he got good at his job.
He's accomplished.
He's really good at saying insults to people.
He's an award-winning slam poet.
Yeah.
That's what he does in his free time. He doesn't actually play music at all.
He's just like, you fat fuck. There is no Mars bar down there.
But he just plays like the bongos really offbeat.
So he lays into this guy pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then boots him.
Yeah, just kicks him right out of the room.
After he's gone,
yeah,
he turns back and then, says to another trombone player, it was your out of tune, but he didn't know. And that's just as
worse.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like he would have kicked the other guy out too. It's like, well, you were also out of tune.
Well,
so get
but
the
now,
fuck out.
but since he's manipulating him.
Yeah.
So since he saw, I'm gonna kick you out if you ever do something.
That's
like that
true,
again.
and he might even go back to that other student and be like, "I'll let you back in if," and then he's gonna do some torturous shit to him
games.
too.
He plays games with everybody.
I need you to pick up my dry cleaning, you stupid trombone player.
I need you to take my mother to her doctor's appointment.
My macchiato was lukewarm this morning. I'm unhappy.
You didn't leave the whipped cream off my pumpkin frappuccino. You sack of shit. Get out of my band.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So,
and then little drummer boy.
He establishes dominance in his own classroom.
Yeah,
Yes.
and is like, all right, everyone take a 10-minute break. New guy, you're on drums when we come back.
Mm-hmm.
So instantly he's like, holy fuck, like if I mess up, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So he's like out in the hallway, like writing his counts in his music, trying to make sure he doesn't mess up.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God. And Fletcher just kind of like puts him at ease, and he comes up and he's like, hey man, don't worry about it. Music's fun, right? We're all here to have fun.
Oh, he's just putting his guard down so that when he comes back in, it's going to hurt even more.
Oh yeah. And he's like asking about his family. He's like really trying to get to know him. He's like, hey, don't worry, man. You know, we're all here. We're just musicians. Just relax.
He was just stacking ammo for
red
stuff to
flag,
talk
red
shit
flag.
about him.
And he just goes, I'll see you in there.
Well, every piece of information he gives him, he throws back in his face later on.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, because he tells him like, oh, my mom left when she was young, or when I was young. My dad, you know, he's just a high school teacher, and like don't really have any friends, don't really have any other family, no other musicians in the family.
He was just gathering information.
Yeah.
He could scream back at
And then
him.
he repeats those 5 things back to him 14 different ways each
Yep.
throughout the rest of the film.
This is why your mother's a whore.
It's like, what? I told you that in confidence.
The way you're playing,
Yeah.
it'll look like Daddy's the success story. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So he comes back in, and they're like, all right, we're going to play Whiplash again, but we're going to play it at like baby tempo. Like, you know, we'll just give you a shot. So they're playing through. It's going okay. But then he's like, no, hold on. You're just not quite on my tempo.
He lets it go just long enough for you to, okay, maybe he's got it.
Yeah.
Maybe the kid's got it.
And you
then
can like
nope.
you can see Miles. He's like smiling, like, oh no, dude, he's just being reassuring. Don't worry about it. I'm having fun. And then like he's playing for a little bit. You think he's doing okay. Then he freaking chucks a chair at him,
Yeah.
like right across the room.
And he just ducks in time.
Just
that he didn't get decapitated by the chair.
And then he yells at him because he doesn't know why he got a chair thrown at him.
Do you know why I threw a chair at your head?
Dude, I have no idea why you threw
How
a
did
chair
you
at my
not
head.
hear even stupider?
Are you kidding me? You should know why a chair is being flung at you. Oh my God. But yeah, he's like, are you rushing or dragging on my beat? He's like, now count. And the kid starts counting 1 to 4, and he's slapping him in the face.
On one, but he's like
absolutely
a little ahead of the one.
Oh my God.
And he slapped him like 6 times.
Oh my God. Are you a 1-tier kind of guy?
Yeah, he starts
look
crying.
like a double fucking rainbow.
Ugh.
What a mean guy.
It's like, and there's this baby sitting here drooling all over my fucking drum set.
And then he wants him to keep chanting, I'm upset, louder and louder.
Oh my
just to like
God.
humiliate him.
He's
Dude,
trying to get the greatness out.
I feel like he's in like boot camp. Like they're trying to break him down so we can build him up into a jazz player.
Oh, and that's exactly what he proceeds
That's
to do.
exactly what he does.
Because each time he gets a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, his story kind of goes along. You know, he's going on a date with this girl, and he's kind of getting up there in the music school, and he's like actually playing a little bit more now. And we kind of get to like our first like competition with this jazz group, and he's still like kind of like the backup player. But they get done playing their first set, and the main drummer hands him the folder, which is instantly like, you know how this teacher gets about these folders.
Yeah, don't you fucking lose your folder.
Yeah, he literally says it like 2 minutes beforehand. He's like, if I see one of these lying around, I will kill somebody.
If I see one laying around again.
Yeah, but like this is something I don't know if they actually like confirm or not, or if I just missed it. But did Miles actually like lose the folder on purpose, or do you think like
he
Fletcher came and took it?
What they show you is he sets it down on the chair.
Yeah.
And then turns right around for it, and it's gone.
I thought it was gonna be, what's his name, asshole guy, that took it.
Fletcher?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna show him having it in his bag or something later, just to like.
No, they
be
didn't
even
give
more
us
of a dick.
anything.
Yeah, no,
it
'cause
was just gone.
That's what I was thinking too, is like, you know, after the concert, he would just like hand the folder to Miles Teller and be like, you dropped this or something.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna just be an asshole, but no, it's
Yeah,
just gone.
It doesn't. That's not a far-fetched idea for him to do. Like, he's been manipulating everybody, but they just never
really
prove it.
convenient.
Yeah, because it almost seems like he was trying to make this, you know, Miles's like big break, because like, you know, he beats him to death over this Whiplash song, And, you know, of course, Whiplash is the song they're about to play, and they don't have music. So Miles is like, well, I have it memorized. I'll go and play it. And he really puts him on the spot. Like, if you mess this up, you're done. And the kid plays it, like, perfectly from memory. So I'm like, maybe it was just him, like, stealing the folder to prove, like, yeah, you can do this. Like, I'm just giving you, like, tough love for now.
Either that or somebody picked up the folder thinking it was theirs, and that's it. that also could have happened.
End of story.
And then later, like, at your next rehearsal, some kid's like, oh, I think this is yours, bro. And you're like, fuck you.
That's the post-credit scene. It's just some janitor like, hey, somebody lost this.
Is this yours?
Like, Mr. Drums left this folder here?
I'm looking for Billy Drums.
Billy Drums.
Drums is his last name, I think. But yeah, so he plays Whiplash like perfectly, and he becomes the new like main drummer. So now
he's even a dick about that.
Oh
too.
yeah,
they're just in practice or whatever. He's like, what? He tells the old drummer, "Oh, this is for core only. I don't need any backups in here." So
yeah, because it's like literally the next rehearsal, and the old guy is sitting at the kit, and like they're all pissed off at him for losing this folder. And J.K. Simmons walks in. He's like, get the fuck off the drum set. I don't have time for, like, you page-turning bitches.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
But it's kind of nice because, well, not nice. I mean, oh, my God. Like, that was terrible. But it's cool because, like, you see Miles' kind of progression and how he's, like, playing more and more complicated songs. He's not getting screamed at nearly as much, like, or at least they're not showing it in this portion.
You think he's getting into the groove of it.
Yeah, they give you long enough of a good stretch where you're like, oh, maybe he won his approval. But in the back of my head, I'd never seen this movie before, and I was like, oh, he's going to get it. He's gonna do something.
Got to build him up to tear him back down.
You get too comfortable, and then everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
But, like, this is kind of his, like, Miles' first, like, kind of, like, cockiness, where, like, he literally breaks up with his girlfriend at, like, a diner, and he's basically just listing out the things that
I'm gonna be awesome. Yeah. Your life's gonna be boring. I can't. You'll drag me down. You'll prevent me from my dreams.
You're a non-major having waste of life.
You don't understand music.
I'm gonna be a drummer, so I'm better than you.
I'm gonna be doing drugs and fucking a lot of bitches, so
I can't be tied down.
You're just gonna drag me down.
Yeah. Oh, like, of all the things, like he thinks like he can't have anything else but this.
Well, I mean, like, to be one of the greats, it has to be an obsession.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. You can't like half want it and then be like, yeah, I think I'll just be great one day.
No, and it was definitely kind of good. It was definitely the girl from the movie theater.
Yeah.
Like, if she was bringing him down. She was in like 4 scenes, and he was doing bad in all the scenes. He was just doing bad drums.
He wasn't even smiling in those scenes.
Right?
That wasn't a happy relationship.
He didn't even enjoy it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It was miserable.
But then she's like, yeah, I mean, if that's what you think, then you're not who I want to date. And she walks out.
Right. Yeah. Which is 100% good for you.
Yeah. Good for her.
Fuck
that. Exactly.
That's
golf clap.
I mean, that's pretty pretentious to be like,
well, yeah,
when you're going to drag me down.
Yeah, right.
No, when people say, just tell me the truth, this is not the truth you want to be telling them. This is just hurtful. It's like, you're a waste of space. I'm amazing. Anyway, get out of my sight.
And we do appreciate a little bit of, I don't know, him. He's not like becoming the conductor. Like, that never really happens.
No.
Yeah.
But he definitely does do some stuff that's similar.
Yeah.
And then
he kind of starts like picking up like on the mannerisms.
That's a pivotal moment where he starts changing his character into that kind of way.
And you also see it from the other drummer where he starts screaming out him.
Yeah, now he's yelling and he's pissed.
It's that chain of yelling where, somebody yells at you, you have to get it out some way.
It's the circle of screaming.
Yeah.
It's the
How I Met Your Mother.
It's the circle of screaming.
Fine, it's the chain of screaming. I thought the circle would be a better name. Anyway.
Yeah. But, because, like, you see it at this, like, dinner scene that happens in this part where it's like, we're finding out the cousin's, like, a big football player. He's just hit a school record. The other one's, like, a model UN. And everyone's just kind of like, oh, yeah, and you're drumming. That's great. And, like, the dad's not really defending him, and everybody's just kind of being like, yeah, no, I mean, you can't really do much with that.
He just allowed himself to get walked all over.
Yeah.
And then he has a little snapping
he gets that
point
fire lit.
And starts shooting back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And he's just like, what did he say? Like, you're never going to call or something.
Oh.
And it's like 4 words you're never going to hear from the NFL. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he asked if he would come play.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he starts digging into his football player sibling.
Well, it's kind of nice because, like, you know, when you kind of make that decision when you're like, oh, yeah, I want to play instruments for a living, like, you kind of always get that conversation like, how are you going to make money? What is it? Like, what can you really do with it?
Yeah, the starving artist.
Yeah. So, like, I like that he claps back and he's just like, you know what? Well, you're going to be, like, concussed by the age of, like, 40 and nobody's going to want you anymore. And, like, yeah, great, Model UN, you're not really that fucking smart. Like,
yeah. So he gets a few good insults in. And again, more just, like, defending himself.
Yeah. But he, like, goes and, like, after this scene, he's, like, back to practicing and, like, he's, like, really sweating. His hands are bleeding like crazy.
Yeah, a lot of bleeding.
Yeah, I think that's the first
excessive amount of hand blood.
It's the first time they show, like, a little mark on his hand where it's starting to get kind of bloody, and then he keeps playing and he puts a Band-Aid on and he keeps playing, and then he's bleeding through that Band-Aid, so he puts a Band-Aid on top of that Band-Aid, and then he keeps playing until those Band-Aids come off.
Just a cycle of Band-Aids until he gets this piece correct.
Well, did you see, like, there's literally a whole cubby full of Band-Aids, like, at his disposal.
Oh, yeah.
No, just like Band-Aids. He's just like ready. That's where he's grabbing them from. He's just like, I have a never-ending supply.
He opened 100 Band-Aids just for quick access.
Yeah, exactly.
During practice.
Oh, jeez.
Can't stop.
But yeah, and he's always working on this double time swing. Like, anytime they show him practicing, he eventually gets back to this double time swing.
I still don't really know what was wrong with his first double time swing.
Well,
it wasn't good enough.
It wasn't his tempo.
It wasn't good enough. He needed to be better.
The script called for a few more arguments.
Yeah.
So
we need more drama. But yeah, he's constantly working on this double time swing, and it gets to this rehearsal where Fletcher brings out a piece where they literally have, I think, a few hours to learn it. Like, they just get done rehearsing, and he's like, all right, grab this piece on your way out. Like, you have until 9:00 tonight to learn it. And it's the song called Caravan, and it requires, like, the double time swing.
Ooh. The nemesis.
Yeah.
The music, hurdle.
Yeah. The thing we've been hearing nothing, like, nonstop about, and now we're finally going to see him, like, put it into action.
Yeah.
But just to mess with him even more, Fletcher brings in this old drummer from, like, the kind of Dumber Down group.
The class he was in before.
Dumber Down?
Yeah.
The Dumber Down
The Dumber Down group.
The class he was just in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is basically like, hey, I just happened to stumble upon this guy who's playing, like, a wicked double time swing. I'm going to give him a crack at the part. Mm-hmm. So he's just like, well, I gave him the music this morning, but, you're my core drummer. You should be okay. Let's go play it.
Yeah, he has to sight read the music, and he gave the other guy all morning to work on it.
Yeah, so of course he's not going to be able to just whip out, like, a 300 BPM fucking swing.
Yeah.
So he's flubbing it, and he gets the other kid to sit down, and the kid kind of plays it, like, perfectly. And he's like, see, this is the best thing about this band. At any moment, you could be the core player. And Miles loses his mind. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's garbage. Like, it's so...
No, he gets the part. It's like, that shit.
that shit. It's like a wind-up toy.
But, Steve, he could have been better. And then he'd have been able to sight read that double time swing.
Yeah, you can always be better.
But see, that's the thing. Better. Like, Fletcher even said, he's like, don't worry about the, like, rhythm. I just want to hear the swing. And make sure you guys can play the tempo. And he calls, like, the band in, and they're like, okay, we're going to play Caravan. Here we go. And he keeps, like, starting and stopping and starting and stopping. He's just screaming at these drummers. He's like, one of you assholes is going to play me a perfect 400. And he tells the band, like, go get a coffee, go take a dump, go hug your girlfriend, make your final request for life.
Oh, my God. Like, and they're there until, like, 2 in the morning?
2 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah, when they finally get it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the band can come in.
Yeah.
And do it. It's like 2 in the morning.
Which means they probably rehearse till about, like, 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then...
Because then he calls them back in and is like, all right, let's keep playing. And all the drummers that he was cycling between are just dripping in sweat.
And they're all bleeding. They're all bleeding.
All of them.
More excessive drum violence.
But, like, just the, stopping and starting and just, it makes you as the viewer so frustrated listening to this that it kind of puts you in the spot of, like, the other band members that are just like watching this.
Yeah. And like they're like in the bathroom washing their hands and you just hear Fletcher screaming in the background.
Through the wall, just hammering on them.
And everyone's like looking at each other like, glad I'm not there.
Glad it's not me this time.
Holy shit. We better be on top of it.
Yeah.
But it does bring, I should mention that if he's trading people in his band in and out that fast.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be hard to get a band to sound good.
Yeah, you gotta groove with each other.
Keep trading people out.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously he's only doing this for someone who thinks they can be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, he's looking for that
one to be great.
Yeah.
He's looking for the diamond in the rough.
The diamond in the rough.
Yeah. And at this point, you're not really sure if he has actually given up on him or like if he's still playing that mind game.
Yeah. Well, because, like, you never really get a read on Fletcher.
Yeah.
Like, even at the end, like, you think he's something different. Like, when he kind of gives his, like, backstory of why he does what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of start being like, well, maybe, like, I get why he did what he did. But then, like, the ending happens and you're like, no, you're just an asshole, aren't you?
And I wasn't expecting to get any justification for anything that he did.
Yeah, no,
and
no.
They actually gave me some, and I was like, I didn't think this was going to be... So I thought that was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And then he explains it, and you kind of... I wouldn't say, like, I agree with his methods at all any more than I did before, but it does at least show you his perspective.
Right.
Because it is a movie about, like...
perfection.
I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's why he's the one teaching that.
Yeah, but it's like the Thanos reasoning. It's like, all right, I get you think you're saving the world, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're just killing half of the people.
And he, Miles Teller brings that up to him at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice too.
Yeah.
He's like,
maybe you're going to discourage people.
I think, you could be discouraging the next big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And he immediately has a response for it. Like, no, the next big star wouldn't back down from blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, okay, well.
Still sucks though, dude.
Oh yeah. No, he's just too crazy with it.
Yeah.
But we get to our next competition, and this is like the big one because they're gonna play Caravan. They're gonna do this whole double time swing. And so he tells them, like, you guys have to be there at 5. Nobody better be late, or again, there will be murder.
Right. And things have been going decent for him, and I know Danielle and I were looking at each other like something bad. There's been 12 minutes of like his life's going fine.
Yeah.
So he's about to get crapped on.
Yeah.
And sure enough.
Yeah. But on his way there, he takes a bus. The bus pops a tire.
Yeah, it gets a flat tire.
Yeah.
So he's like panicking. He's got to rush. Like it's like 5:02 by the time he gets like a rental car.
Yeah.
And he's on his way to this thing. He finds out like, oh, we got 20 minutes until we get on stage, but he leaves his stinking sticks in the freaking rental car place.
He's always on the phone. Every time he drove in the movie, which is like 3 times.
Yeah.
Every time he was on the phone calling someone that was there.
Right.
Repeating the fact that he's on his way there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's that angle from the car where it's kind of looking out the window and you're like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. He's going to get in a car accident.
Well, it's because he's driving in a freaking panic because like he gets to the venue, realizes he loses his sticks, and like Fletcher's telling him like, if you're not on that stage by 5:30, like you're done. You're not in the band anymore. You're over, or we could let this other guy play the part and you could just turn pages for today. And he's like, no, it's my part. I'm going to go get it. So he zooms away, zooms back. And yeah, like what Danielle was saying, it's just like, it looks like the camera is just in the passenger seat and you see this truck come flying at him.
Well, you don't really see the truck. It's almost a jump scare, kind of.
No, like
it's like half a jump scare.
Yeah, it's like maybe half a second, but you do see the truck come at him.
Yeah,
and then
it's Blumhouse.
And then you're tumbling.
I saw Annabelle driving that truck. Did you see that?
But yeah, it stays inside the car as you're tumbling around, and all you see is like the roof and the broken glass, and your car's smushed.
And I was not expecting like
all that,
like physical harm.
Oh yeah,
like
no.
I was okay with the yelling and the waking up late and the verbal abuse, but like I would definitely was not, and I know it's like a drama, but like I wasn't expecting that type of something bad. A car accident wasn't on my list. For the musician movie, the music movie.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw this and the car accident happened, I was like,
oh.
So the movie's done?
Is he dead?
He died.
Yeah, he tumbled like pretty good.
He gets his sticks and jogs the rest of the way.
And this freaking truck driver's like, dude, no, you need to stay. Like, you're bleeding out of your head. Yeah. And he's like, no, it's just a few blocks away. I can make it.
It's
just a flesh wound.
Yeah, basically.
I gotta go play the drums.
He's leaking.
I have to be the next immortal drummer. I will do it.
And somehow he gets all the way on stage, bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, I can stop doing the drums.
And nobody stops him and says, hey, buddy, maybe you should sit down.
No, they let him through the whole venue.
Yeah.
Not a single person stopped him.
Yeah, but he ends up
attempting
to play. He's doing pretty well there, but I mean the dude was just in a car accident.
Again, they give you just a little bit where you're like, oh, he might, and then
he dropped his stick because his hand stopped working because it was, first of all, covered in blood, and second, I think he just lost the ability to move his left hand.
Yeah.
My thing is, most of his practice has been with bloody drumsticks, so he should know how to do it better.
He should know how to hold a bloody drumstick.
See, blood is sticky, so it actually helps you grip the stick a little better. So
what did I say? He should have worn gloves.
Nah, you don't need gloves when you got blood.
Every 6 minutes in the film, he's cutting his hands open.
Miles Teller starring in Blood Glove.
Brought to you by Band-Aid.
Johnson & Johnson Company.
Blood, Anxiety, and Drums. The movie.
Drops the drumstick.
Yeah.
Picks it up feebly, stumbles along, and then
drops it again, I think.
Yeah, they end up having, like, Fletcher just cuts off the band.
They just stumble all the way to a halt.
Yeah. And, he goes up to Miles and is just like, you're done. It's over.
Yeah.
And I love Miles for doing this. He kicks the drum set out of the way and tackles this dude on stage.
Oh, yeah, he should have punched him more.
He's like, you motherfucker.
Again.
He attacks him.
I was expecting yelling.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting him to tackle him and try to bite his face off.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
He was out for blood, dude. He wanted to beat that bald man.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of pent up stuff going on, and
I mean,
just got in the accident.
And his adrenaline's probably still surging.
What I say right afterwards, I was like, well, if he had all that energy, he should have played the drums. Should have just kept playing the drums.
Should have used that energy for drumming.
It's like fucking dead silent in here, and Michael's just like, where was that bit of energy when you were playing the drums, buddy?
I was like, oh my God, Mike.
Where's it at?
Maybe if you tried a little harder to not get hit by a truck, you could have played this.
But then this is where, we get the lowest point, the rock bottom moment.
Rock bottom moment.
Yeah.
Welcome to rock bottom.
Because he gets kicked out of school and he has to pack up his bags.
Yeah, he moves back in with his dad.
Yeah.
They can go watch
movies at home
and eat their Raisinette popcorn.
Gross.
Right. And like he he's like looking at his phone. He's like, oh, maybe I should call that girl I brutally tore apart in a restaurant.
Yeah, good luck with that, buddy.
Yeah, but I mean, he decides against it, which is smart.
Yeah.
I don't think that phone call is really going to go over well.
Yeah.
But he's walking around that night, and he runs past this like jazz club and sees that Fletcher's playing there. Mm-hmm. And he goes inside, and you hear Fletcher on the piano, and he's playing like this beautiful piece,
doing a little ditty.
Yeah,
tickling the ivories a bit.
I wanted to kiss him. He's talented.
Maybe just a mild snuggle.
Yeah, and just like cozy up to him and be like, yell at me a little bit.
Yeah, but then you get that
yell
moment.
At me softly.
You get that moment of like, oh, I've never actually listened to this guy play, so I guess let's see if he's any good. And he's playing like the most basic piano part in like a ballad.
I wasn't impressed at all.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was like, what he was playing sounded so nice coming from like the devil.
Yeah, it was like
right?
a very like playing on the upper octaves of the piano.
Like
very
I was
light
expecting like some kind of like chaotic like jazz from him.
Then with the different style of music, you see the different side of him.
Right.
You know, so it's like the music matches the, what's happening in conversation later.
Sure.
Yeah. But, Miles ends up trying to, I know I keep calling him Miles, and his name is Andy, but I'm just so used to the actor's name.
Nobody cares.
But Miles is like, he makes eye contact with him, and he goes to leave, and Fletcher stops him, and it's just like, he's like, hey, sit down, like, let's have a drink and kind of catch up. But
did we skip over the part with the lawyer? Is that
yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Because I realized we kind of skipped over it. But Miles basically finds out from Fletcher here that he's no longer at Schaefer and he was kicked out. And we kind of know this from a scene earlier, where they're talking to like a lawyer, and they're like, "Were you under like emotional distress from this guy? Like, one of his previous students killed themselves out of like stress and anxiety from this guy."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
and he said it was a car accident.
Yeah.
But he hung himself.
Yeah, he hung himself in his room, and
I didn't realize he lied about that.
Yeah, because like there is a scene with Fletcher.
He lied till right now.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
And it's kind of the only time we get like any emotion from Fletcher other than anger is when he's like telling the jazz band about this kid, and he's like, "Oh, he was an amazing trumpet player. Like,
but we know he
could have
really
been the best."
Killed him.
Yeah,
we know he killed him. We knew it. We knew
you
it all
hit a
along.
B when it's supposed to be a B flat, and stabs him and just puts him in a closet.
Oh, God.
Hides him in the bass drum.
But yeah, so Fletcher's been fired from Schaefer, and he kind of gives his backstory of why he yells and screams and all that. And he's like, if this guy didn't get that cymbal chucked at his head, like he never would have been the great player he would have been, or like he was. So he's like, if I'd never pushed and this person didn't become the next great thing, like it was all a waste. Like it's a tragedy if this person doesn't like hit the stage or like become great.
Which is still like a dick move. Like,
well, it's the ends don't justify his means,
right?
Yeah.
But that's a total like goal that some music teachers and regular teachers or whatever, they definitely have that goal where they're like, I want to teach somebody who really gets it and is really good.
Yeah, but then it also you
don't have to hurt people.
Right.
To do, there's better ways to do it.
Like, it seems like he's a little bit of a psychopath.
He's a little off his rocker.
Well, yeah, he's out for his own glory, I think, as well, because he can be the guy who's like, yeah, I taught the next, Miles Teller. I taught the next, like, Doogie Howser.
Well, he's an unhealthy amount invested in his goal.
Yeah. But
clearly he has no love life.
Yeah, no. He doesn't have time. He's got
really
jazz.
Any of that, no. All he needs is jazz.
All he needs is his jazz. And Ryan Gosling.
So they go to leave, and he says, take this how you will, but I'm doing a thing here with a band.
Doing a thing.
And my drummer's just not up to snuff,
I'll let you in on a little music lingo. They say, he ain't cutting the mustard.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
I've never heard that saying before in my life.
Yeah.
So if he ain't cutting the mustard,
on that. Whew. Yeah, you better cut that mustard. Get that knife all sharp for that mustard cutting.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He invites him into his band.
Yes.
And
I'm like,
I'm
no,
hoping
don't
he does
do it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, nah, bro, just
let it go.
Just
Yeah.
let it go.
Like, he hurt you enough. Just be done with it.
And then, I mean, he agrees, and they cut to him.
I mean, he's still trying to prove himself to
Yeah.
this guy.
Oh, right.
Like, at this point, he hit rock bottom, so what has he got to lose?
Right.
So, I guess in his head, he's just still trying to prove himself.
So he goes back to the house and pulls the old kid out of the closet.
Yeah, and he's like...
Sets it up, dusts it off.
Yeah.
And he's all, like, excited. He's like... He even calls that girl and is like, hey, like... I know I have no business calling you, but, like, I have this great show coming up. Like, if you wouldn't mind, like, come with me and, like, we'll get some pizza afterwards.
Yeah.
Which was their first date.
First date pizza party.
And she hits him with the, I'll check. I gotta check with my boyfriend.
Sorry, I have a boyfriend,
I have a
actually.
boyfriend.
As soon as she picks up the phone, he's like, hey, how's it going? I have a boyfriend.
I have a
I don't know if you
boyfriend.
heard, but I have a boyfriend.
And it's funny because he looks dejected.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's like, bro, what did you expect?
It's like, dude, you tore her heart out. And then
Right.
you're
nice,
like,
pretty girl in college doesn't have people talking to her. What are you,
yeah,
an
like
idiot?
she's not going
What
to
are you,
wait
an
around
idiot?
for you.
yeah. But it comes night of the show. He gets to the venue, doesn't really talk to Fletcher at all before they get on stage.
Nope.
And after he sits down behind the kit, that's when Fletcher comes up to him and is just like, I know it was you. Like, do you think I'm stupid?
Yeah.
Of course you got me fired.
Trying to intimidate him.
It was like, it's funny. The minute you leave school, I get fired.
Yeah, I deduced.
That's why I hate when, like, lawyers in these movies are always like, they'll never know it was you who ratted them out. It's like,
It's like, well,
They're
probably.
probably
of course they're going to know.
If we
The
wait
most
5
recent
years,
thing
maybe not.
happened because of this kid.
Right.
But yeah, so he like gets in his head, and then he gets on the microphone and is like, hey, we're going to start with this tune. And it turns out Miles does not have this music.
Hit him with a
Never
little
gave
gotcha.
it to him.
Yeah, told him completely wrong songs. He's like, oh yeah, we're going to play like our old lab band charts, like Caravan and Whiplash and all that. And like,
So he was being a dick the whole
the
time.
whole time.
And then the next 3 minutes, and I don't currently play any instruments or anything like that. It was not pleasant to listen to him struggle that much on something that needs to be very structured, like a drum set.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was like, oh no, he's just. And then eventually, later and later in the song, the other musicians are yelling at him.
Yeah.
Like,
What
what
are
are
you
you doing? Like, come on, play the music.
Yeah. But
That at least tells you they're not in on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
The art is innocent, Steve.
But yeah, so like the song ends and he's like defeated and basically like walks off the stage.
Yeah.
And like you hear Fletcher in the background like, oh, a little bit of avant-garde playing from the rhythm section there, but don't worry, we'll get good again.
Right.
Like now that
Yeah.
he's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
Miles' dad is backstage and he's like hugging him and he's like trying to be like, all right,
He's always been there for him, which
Yeah.
was nice to see. What a good dad.
But his
Yeah.
dad never pushed him. His dad was there to comfort him.
And
Right.
You definitely see that in he decides to turn back.
Yeah.
And
Right.
walk back to the stage, and you see his dad like look confused.
Yeah, like
where are you
why do you
going?
keep putting
Like, it was-
yourself through this?
His
Yeah.
dad was 100% okay with him quitting and being done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. So like, aw.
He's more concerned about his well-being
But
than
he-
his
Right.
playing.
He walks back determined
Yep.
to jazz like no one's ever jazzed before.
Ooh, and he just comes in hot. And,
Yeah, he
Cuts
kicks
him off.
Caravan right off.
oh, yeah.
We established earlier, drums are louder than talking.
Yeah.
So he just starts playing. And then he starts yelling at the other musicians like, I'm going to cue you in.
Yeah.
And so they don't even need him.
Takes control.
Yeah.
Takes control of his band.
He
And
owns
Fletcher's
his-
like, he's like, I will fucking kill you. Or
Right.
like he's like, I will skull fuck you or something.
And he's just like, fuck you while he's
yeah,
playing the
dude, he
drums.
crashes in his face and he's just
Oh.
like, yeah, don't talk to me.
Yeah,
dude.
it's kind
I'm
of nice.
jazzing right now.
There's like a
Back and forth.
little mini arc in that
Yeah.
song,
Yeah, they have a little
quote unquote
argument.
song, that jam session, if you will.
They're fighting with their
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
But they play they're playing through Caravan and like you're slowly starting to see J.K. Simmons like lighten up and he's kind of like, holy shit, this kid is amazing. Like
He's
maybe I
tagging
did
that
push
set.
him to greatness.
Yeah.
And he's, they're playing through the song and like Fletcher's getting more and more into it and they finally end it and Miles just goes into this insane drum solo.
And the lights go out because that's when it was supposed to go out because the band was supposed to stop playing. And then they kind of like come back on. Like the lighting guy was just like,
I guess we should be still paying attention.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is like him like coming into his own. Like when those lights go out, he's no longer, just a student of Fletcher. When they come back on, he's his own musician. Like it's insane.
He was the one doing the leading.
Yeah.
Instead of being a follower.
And like you
like
see
a phoenix rising from the ashes.
But like it's kind of, this is like the first time I think the dad truly realizes like how great his son is, because like he's looking through the doors of like backstage, and he just has this look of like pure
holy crap
on his face.
What you can play like that?
Yeah. And Fletcher's like kind of cueing him more with the music, and he's like telling him like to bring the volumes down.
They're starting to get along in the music.
They're having a little communication, music wise.
And then he starts like encouraging them to build the solo back up, and he's like getting them to like flip out on the cymbals and hit everything.
And then he starts cueing the band in, because he's like, all right, we got to play like one last chord to finish this off.
And then like right before he cues that final note, like Miles looks at him, he looks at Miles, and he finally like cracks that smile, and like it's almost his way of being like, yeah, I knew this would work. Like I knew you would get to this point where
are you talking about that very special and sensitive moment that they have with their eyes that goes into slow-mo in the middle of music, which is a timed event?
Yeah. Well, and like but I also love like that during this solo, he does break out like that double time swing just to be like, hey, fuck you, dude, I mastered this now. Like this is nothing to me.
Like I've been saying, he got better at the drums the whole time.
That's all you need to do.
He got a little better, and now he can do that.
But yeah, so he cues that last note, he finishes his solo, and we cut to credits.
Yeah.
And that's Whiplash.
That's the movie.
Whiplash.
Oh my God.
It gave me whiplash.
Oh, dude, it does.
Did you notice in when they're originally playing Whiplash in the practice area or whatever, there's like a lot of the head turning and stuff.
To be dramatic.
They're like I noticed it during it, like the way they were moving their heads. I was like, oh, it's called
they're
Whiplash.
giving themselves Whiplash.
It's called Whiplash, and
then he gets whiplash because he gets hit by a truck.
Yeah,
it's the ultimate whiplash.
He can't see the right half of his kit because his neck hurts. If
I think he had like a stroke because like the left side of his body stopped working.
He got beat up pretty bad.
Side of a stroke?
My God, yeah.
I mean, he got hit by a truck. And then became the best drummer in the world.
Yeah.
They do show that he like broke his finger. I think like that was the only injury
cast
they
on
showed.
It or something, like a little splint type thing.
And that was like after he got in the car accident. So like they never really say what his injuries were or if he like, I was expecting that scene at the doctor where they're like, you pushed yourself way too hard, dude. Like you need to chill.
Yeah.
Well, like I think they don't show you that, just kind of like keeping it to like he doesn't even care. Like he doesn't have time to like worry about, oh shit, my finger's broken, I gotta play double time swing, let's go.
Yeah. That's true. They really keep it clean.
There's no fat on this movie at all.
Oh yeah.
None.
No fat at all.
Yeah, he literally trims it in that first band scene.
Yeah, get him out.
You're fat. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
The only kid that was like maybe 15 pounds overweight. Like he wasn't even that big of a guy.
Yeah, because they all have anxiety.
Yeah.
So they don't eat.
Oh my God.
He was cutting into him.
Dude, he just...
so
many lives.
I did enjoy the colorfulness of his language.
Yes.
They definitely...
Great insults.
They definitely did a good job at mixing, like not saying the same stuff all the time. Like
that's true.
Well, yeah, and it didn't seem like it was just cursing for cursing's sake. Like it felt like his character. Like he would actually like talk.
That's
like
100% what that guy says all the time.
Yeah, and they're not doing it for like comedic effect or like, oh look how edgy we are. He said fuck like twice.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it actually feels like he's like this super impassioned teacher who's like frustrated with everything always.
Yeah.
If you don't have any greatness in you, but you're a good musician, you probably weren't going to get yelled at in his class anyways. Because if you were great, you got yelled at.
Right.
If you were in the way of greatness, you got yelled at.
Oh, yeah. There's some people in that band that just slid right through. And you could tell because they were calm and cool and collected the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bass player who's yelling at him was,
Yeah.
Hey,
well, I will say for the brief moment I did play in a jazz group in high school, like they screamed at the rhythm section more than any other section.
Because you got to be on.
Yeah, like you're held under like that like microscope. They're like, all right.
Well, yeah, because if the jazz drummer isn't good, then it's not good jazz drumming. Yeah.
Then it's not a good jazz band. It all comes back to the drummer.
You know,
and then you need Ryan Gosling to come and save the jazz.
You just need to be better.
I know, dude. I wish I could be better.
I think we can all take that from this film, though. We could all just be a little better. More. We could all just be a little better.
Yeah.
ABP, always be practicing.
Or ABB, always be better.
But definitely a well-told story.
Yes.
About someone, and it wasn't your average rise to fame movie either.
Right.
Like, it was a very different approach.
Yeah, you never felt like he was becoming famous. It was all just about his practice.
They never show you either, which is kind of nice. Like, they kept it, like we said, there's no fat on it. So it's like, you can't be bothered with the trivial things of fame and fortune. He became a good drummer.
Musician.
Yeah, but like, what happens now? Does he like get a good drumming gig? Is he like famous? Is he on records? Like, we don't know.
Realistically, he realizes that he actually hates the art of drumming and never touches a set.
He decides he wants to play guitar.
Yeah, he's like, I think I'm going to switch my major instrument actually in my last semester.
It's like, now that I've mastered this, I'm thinking the kazoo sounds pretty fun.
I actually am going to play the recorder now.
He's trying to play in the freaking band with a recorder. Are you flat or sharp?
I don't know. It's made of plastic. What am I supposed to do?
I'm just covering a hole. These things. It's kind of hard to do that wrong.
I could just see like Fletcher snapping it on his knee, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of my room!
My recorder!
I can get one for $5."
All right. So this movie, it was good.
Yeah.
It made me have anxiety.
Yeah, I love this.
I didn't get any anxiety.
I had anxiety the whole time.
I thought it was pretty well done. Like,
good.
Not bad.
Well, I'm glad I didn't force you to watch another shitty movie.
No, because since you play the drums, you know, it was like, oh, he's just gonna nitpick about the whole film.
Yeah, but Michael didn't want to watch this movie.
They did a good job at not making it hard to watch.
Yeah,
music stuff.
It was
like they matched it up good enough where it didn't bother me, and I knew that if it wasn't good, it was going to bother me. So
right.
I think that was my main concern going in. That
it
turned out not to be a problem at all.
It felt so realistic, like a real band life. You know?
Yeah.
Well, they make you care immediately.
And like you really feel the pressure that these students must be under to like perform and be perfect.
Even that little scene where they're all leaving at like 6 a.m. after rehearsing all night, and they all just look like they're about to pass out. Yeah, and fucking J.K. Simmons is all chipper. He's just like, all right, guys, save your receipts or don't. I don't give a shit. Receipts, I'm going home.
Be there. Yeah. But it was good film.
Good movie.
Good, if you want to be good at the drums, you got to be better than Miles Teller.
You got to bleed for it.
Gotta bleed.
Blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears.
Bleeding.
Yeah. Color your drum set with your blood.
And sweat and tears.
And sweat and tears. But yeah, I think that'll just about do it for us for this week.
Yeah.
From all of us here at Every Film in the Book, thanks for listening. And we'll catch you next week.
Not my tempo.
Goodbye.
I'm sorry, sir.
Not my tempo.
I don't want to rush anymore.
It must be my tempo. You know what, Steve? I think you're the first chair just because you do it. Just play me a little something.